Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Ballinesian podcast, special championship round edition. We are already down to the final 3.5 games of football. If you count the flag football game for the Pro Bowl as half, 3 games left in the 2023 NFL season. And yeah, it's kind of sad, but we're going to be able to focus very intensely on these next couple of games. And also very excited about how much football deep diving we're going to do over the next couple of weeks, getting ready for the Super Bowl. And we're going to find out this week who's going to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, Ballinesian podcast sponsored by Livasa Island Apparel. Check them out, www.livasaislandapparel.com. You can also follow them on Instagram and request direct printing orders. Like you can print your own stuff and ask them to send it to you instead of going on the website. So definitely follow at Livasa on Instagram and tap in with Brother E. Ryan. But yeah, let's get into this show. Polynesian Podcast. I am Lance Falatongo.
Raiders!
Forrest is here with his newly signed, drop the interim head coach, Antonio Pierce.
Man,
what's the vibe? What's the vibe right now for Raider Nation?
oh, it's cool. Every free agent wants to sign with the Raiders now.
True.
There's guys trying to break out of their contracts to sign with the Raiders.
Whoa!
I expect all the top players in the league ready to sign with the Raiders. So it's gonna be a good offseason.
And it's Las Vegas, you know what I'm saying? So like a destination.
Biggest, yeah. That I mean,
and
that's the
cheap.
thing. Yeah, guys are just gonna. Antonio Pierce obviously is one of those guys that you want to play for. It's not just the Raiders players that have expressed that sentiment. It's around the league. Of course, I was joking when I said people are going to drop out of their contracts to go play for the Raiders, but
I thought you heard something on the Raider website.
Shit, I wish, but yeah, I mean the destination.
Aaron Rodgers.
No. I ride with Jimmy Kimmel. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, late night. Okay.
Fuck Aaron Rodgers.
That's a really good point. Antonio Pierce, people are going to want to play for him, and it's Las Vegas. It's an easy spell. Devontae Adams, Max Crosby. Yeah. There's already like a culture being built, so people can really add on. This really does or can accelerate that rebuild process and get you guys right back into the playoff season, which is where we are right now, but our teams are not.
No, we're not. And one more note on that, man. Sam Acho, bitch.
What? What did Sam Acho say now?
Emmanuel Acho? Fuck that guy, man.
Oh, both of them?
Man, that fool, Sam Acho's cool. I'm just playing. Emmanuel Acho, man, it's his job. I know it's his job on the show to put out.
Stirring.
But so I'm not gonna pour into his cup so he can stir some more. But
okay.
He just sounds ignorant. You know what I mean? Just yeah. But hey, the Titans, they have a new coach before we get into the show. Titans just signed Callahan.
The Bengals offensive coordinator?
Yes.
One of the guys in one of the group chats, shout out to Gunner, he mentioned that, the Bengals, even though they didn't have Joe Burrow, they did okay this year. Like, their offense was still going. Like, a bunch of other teams lost their starting quarterback, immediately fell out of the picture, Chargers. But at least Jake Browning came in and was able to get the ball to Jamar Chase. Probably, obviously not as good as Burrow, but they didn't totally fall off. They still were able to stick around for a while.
But look, for a guy who considered not playing football anymore for a while, to come in and kind of just, he didn't do great where we were like, hey, man, this guy's going to be the new starter in the league for some team. But he has at least put his name in to be a backup somewhere. So, he made himself relevant in the league. Relevant in the league. So that's good for him. And that's also, you can attribute that to the coaching of Callahan, most likely as the OC, because he oversees, all the
definitely gets the credit right now.
Right.
During,
so
audition or job interviewing process time. So and look, he's getting the job. I don't know if going from Mike Vrabel to what's his name? Joe Callahan? Nathan Callahan?
Brian Callahan?
Brian Callahan? Nice. I don't see how that is, supposed to work. Vrabel's, another coach that commands a locker room and team. So,
No, okay, I'm with you, but who was the coach for the Titans before Mike Vrabel got there? E-
Mike Munchausen.
exactly. So Vrabel came as a coordinator. This is I,
That's wrong.
I'm
That's
I'm
got to
I'm
be
with
wrong.
you. I'm yeah, exactly. I'm with you. I understand. Like a lot of guys want to establish coaches. It's going to be a hard show to follow coming in because Mike Vrabel again is one of those guys that players, one of those guys that players love to play for. So
Mm,
he's got some shoes to fill. But Mike Vrabel also was a guy who was just a coordinator, not just a coordinator. He was a coordinator who learned under Belichick, and someone gave him a chance. So
yeah.
Callahan gets his chance. AP got his chance. Another guy who got his chance to coach, become a head coach after being a positional coach, or I don't even know if he was a coordinator, but Dan Campbell on his way to the NFC Championship. So,
Yeah. Mike Vrabel, also former Patriots linebacker. I
right,
think Callahan might have been a former player. I don't know, but yeah, definitely those guys kind of also have a little extra with their coaching. Like they also know it
right.
from the players' perspective. More stuff that we're going to get into this episode. We're definitely going to talk about the championship rounds coming up. What it's going to take for each team to get a win. What those wins are going to look like. But before we do, we had some awards go out. We had some Pro Bowl voting happening. Tua, Puka Nakua, Tua Tagovailoa, and Panay Sewell were some of the Samoan or Polynesian players that were voted to the Pro Bowl. We got a bunch of new guys coming in, some new blood. And you wanted to highlight the Polynesian player emergence. What does that mean to you? What do you feel like is happening right now?
I mean, we were always part of the league, like a big part of the league. People of Polynesian descent coming into the league and doing good things. But I don't think it was as noticed as it is now. I think because Tua plays a prime position, that has a lot to do with it. You don't see too many. We in the day back in the day, we didn't see too many Polynesians play those skill receiver, skill positions, or a prime position like quarterback. And Tua's been in that light since high school, and now he's in the NFL, led the league in yards. He's probably also leading the league in controversy with his own fans uh, calling for him to be. A lot of guys saying that he's not the guy, even though he had statistically a great season. Yes, he didn't get them over that playoff hump. Got
Mm,
him to the playoffs, didn't get the win, but you know, also Benet coming in out of college,
right.
out of high school, one of the best tackles. Got to college, proved it that he was probably the best tackle coming out that year. Was able to get picked in. Was he number 7? I think. Was he behind Herbert?
Uh, no, I think. Wait, was he? No, there's no. See, I'm
But
gonna look. I think he's the
yeah,
first tackle taken off of the board that year.
he definitely was the first tackle. And then within a few years, not even didn't take him too long to be established as arguably the number one tackle in the league. He's definitely top 5. So, just that. And then his brothers, the 3 of them. That's crazy. There's 3 of them in the league with the other brother playing in the UFL. So,
He's the
just
UFL.
and then you get to hear Puka's name, breaking rookie records, come not as highly touted coming out of college because guys don't do their scouting homework in the NFL, obviously,
See,
you know,
they got to rate that dog in them.
right. And all of this, well, because guys like Jesse Sapolu came into the league and he was probably one of the best linemen ever to play the game, but during his time, I don't know if he got the shine he should have got. Like now, like guys like Dan Saleaumua, bless you, bless you, bless you.
I tried to
And then
mute that so fast. My bad.
shout out to Domotop Echo, who was just
Hey,
yeah,
inducted.
just inducted into the Polynesian Hall of Fame. So that guy,
Yeah, The Rock
I
was inducted this year too.
as what? Jokes,
as a
jokes,
member.
jokes.
Wow, as a
Jokes,
hurricane
jokes.
and the most electrifying man. Yep.
Were you in Samoa already when Domotal was playing back home?
I'm not sure. I
I
don't
know
think. I think
he's.
it was already gone.
Oh, you got that? Okay, so yeah, we were lucky to see him play like back home, like at Samoa, and then just his rise at
That's
Michigan State,
Moana. That sounds so familiar. He might have been still there.
maybe. So those guys paved the way for these guys to be able to be household names. Like those names that I just called out, Sapolu, Dan Saleo Moore, Nico
Hmm.
Nonga, guys like that. Junior Seau was probably the biggest back then. He was so recognizable, also because of the position he played, linebacker. He's always on the field.
He was
Guys are
always by the
checking for him,
ball. Yeah.
always by the ball. Dan Saleo Moore a little bit because he was a D tackle, so he got some tackles. But like Jesse Sapolu is literally one of the best linemen ever to play the game. But because he was an offensive lineman, like, yeah, you heard about it. We heard about him
Right.
because
Right.
we were Polynesian, so he was like the greatest to us. But the emergence I'm talking about now is everybody outside of our culture being able to recognize these guys without help from one of us. Oh no, he's someone, that guy's good.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And it doesn't stop there. Before we get into the heavy stuff, we just saw Noah Fifita and Tetairoa McMillan. People were just so crazy sitting and waiting to see whether they transfer out of Arizona because that's how good they are. Like
Yeah.
people in Washington waiting for him to follow Jed Fish. There were guys from Alabama trying to get them to go there. Ohio State who's stealing all these 5-star transfers because they have guys like CJ Stroud putting money into the NIL. They're waiting for, but this is the one thing I can say about a lot of the Polynesian players. Like they're loyal to a fault at times because those two kids could probably be making millions of dollars if they had transferred with Jetfish to Washington.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm just saying.
They
I'm
signed
just saying.
contracts with that school. You're the one. You're the one that says,
No,
"Hey,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I love it. I love it.
you think them
They're
staying is a good move for loyalty, but not for their pockets."
definitely not for their pockets because you see kids.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna, and nothing against DJ, and I'm sure that's not why he transferred to his third school. Uh, he was also in a
Oh,
different
his
type
coach
of
left.
situation. That's right. His coach left, and he's going. But he's going to Florida State, where I'm pretty sure their NIL deal is a lot better than Oregon State's. Because Florida State's been a football school for so long. They were in the mix
Mm-hmm.
to be in the playoff this year. So, with those two kids, they were a really big part of Arizona being preseason ranked number 10 this year, going into next year. They are ranked number 10. That's their preseason rank.
Yeah.
And those two guys, and they play high school ball together. And they're a package deal. Had they transferred, the school would have had to take both. You know what I mean? So that's great recognition for them as Polynesian kids. That's great to see, man. I'm NFL. You guys need to give Hawaii a franchise, and yeah,
The
yeah,
logistics. We got
yep.
to get that travel down. Man, some of the names throughout college. Nico Iamaleava is exciting. Like
Yup,
he played his game in the his bowl game. I think he had like 4 touchdowns.
4, 3 on the
Definitely,
ground.
yeah. That's gonna be fun to watch. And so like there is a new influx of Polynesian players that are coming up, and we're gonna be seeing a lot more. And that's really dope to know.
Uh,
One of the
Man, before we go, sorry. So we not excluding everybody. It goes farther beyond the football field. If you guys haven't
true,
watched
true.
Elisa Beasley play basketball at Utah, who just took down number 2 UCLA tonight, if you haven't seen her and the Utah Utes play, please go see them play.
Yeah.
If you watch them, then you can go watch the number 1 team in the country, led by none other than Tahino Pau Pau out of California. You know, so those two, Elisa Petey is also projected to go top 10 in this year's WNBA draft.
Let's
So,
go.
you know
Being
what I
able to
mean? So,
play ball, yeah,
man,
for a living, cover ball for a
bro,
living,
and
sports.
if we're, man, you know how far have you seen Bruce's daughter's film?
Uh,
Her footwork,
Marley,
she looks like a little Elisa Petey. I'm
nice
telling you.
footwork is
I'm telling
key.
you. She's nice. She's nice, man. She's
The
so
leagues
nice.
are in good hands. There's talent coming up. We're gonna be okay. One of the players that is not gonna be or hasn't been on the field. That's a big name. Niners safety Talanoa Hufanga, who was injured earlier this year. The Niners defense definitely felt that for a while, but I think they had another rookie or young guy step in to fill safety. But the
Who
Niners
is it?
defense,
Man, that dude's not tackling like Hufanga. They're missing him.
yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
yeah.
Uh,
We need to
yeah.
get some Niners on and really give us the what the not only the team but the nation Niner Nation is feeling.
I was excited to have Mac on tonight. He's not on tonight, unfortunately, but I do follow him on Twitter, and I always love his takes about he's always honest about like whether whoever doing shitty on the because a lot of fans
Yeah,
don't talk about the negative of their team, but uh Mac's really good about talking about everything about his
being
team. He's
real.
he
Yeah,
yeah,
this
yeah.
needs to be
So
fixed. This needs to be addressed.
yeah.
Not
So
just
that's
like, oh, we're the best and we're gonna win by 50
right.
every week.
We're gonna find a way to win. We always do. Yeah, okay, but
Right? This is what needs to happen for that to happen. And that's how we're going to break down these championship round games. But how did we get here? From the divisional round, did any of these games really stick out to you? Um,
Baltimore, man, because a lot of people were
mm,
expecting Baltimore to because they're a really good grinded out type of team. That they're like what I think people wanted Philadelphia to be, like a regular man's. You know what I mean? Like what am I trying to say? Like lunch pail type of guy. Goes to work in the factory. Grind it out type of team.
yeah, yeah.
And I think that's
Lunch
what
pail.
Baltimore is. Yeah, I think that's what Baltimore is, both on the defense and
That
they just,
defense.
yeah, man. Like I know a lot of people watching the game, and early on they were probably like, "Oh, damn, Baltimore's having problems," and then it was a blowout. So
That second half definitely they took over and really blew the doors off of Texans and Texans. Although they were able to keep up in the first half, were not in the second, and Baltimore easily won
right,
that game like 34-10. And I think the reason Lamar Jackson, right? You have
definitely,
the
definitely,
MVP, the guy that won all the games versus the other MVP contenders that has taken this team and really thrown them on his back with an aging Odell, a new Zay Flowers, no Mark Andrews, no
right.
running
No,
backs.
no,
This
Mark.
is Lamar Jackson carrying
Actually,
this team.
I I know he didn't play, but Mark Andrews was available to play. But with the emergence of Isaiah Likely, they were able to let
Mhm.
him sit a little bit more because you know the road does seem like it's leading to the Super Bowl for them. That'd be a great guy to have come back.
I think they might be able to have him this week versus the Chiefs. Oh no,
Yeah.
lost
Oh
you.
no. What
Oh
happened?
no, we
He said,
lost the lighting first, but yeah. What are we talking about? I can still see your headset though.
he
um,
said,
okay, but now we're into the championship round. Oh, is it a
I'm back.
just? Is it a timeout or something? My bad.
I hope so. I hope so. So I'm not trying to go to the airport tomorrow.
Oh no. Um, do you need to turn it on?
No,
Just
we're
want to make
good.
sure.
We're good. You know what? You're right. You know what? You know what? Because when I was a kid, I remember always getting in trouble for going into the when I was a kid, I used to go listen to music in the car
Yeah,
and
yeah.
pretend I was on a cruise with like my homie when I was little. And
Like
then
boy,
oh exactly. And then my parents would get to go to work in the morning and the car would start
why is
like
the battery dead? Oh, those because of the speakers they were used to live my life. Okay, let's talk about the That's a really good one. That the Ravens are what the Eagles wanted to be. That like really hard nosed, grinded out, beat you up team. And my mind keeps going back to this one play when the Ravens played the Chargers. I think there was like a pass completed like 2-3 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and the linebacker came with such ferociousness and knocked that tackle, and it was like a different level of not only speed but power and strength. And then I really noticed after that that is like every player on the Ravens defense is going full speed, very hard, wrap up tackle. So definitely
Man,
feel like it's another level of
the
defense.
year the year Pat Queen came out, I think it was also the same year that Kenneth Murray, you guys drafted him. Same year. Those guys came out at the same time.
No,
I
not the wrong
wanted
one.
I wanted either one. No, actually, Murray's not bad. In other words, I wanted the Raiders to draft. I really wanted them to draft Pat Queen because I saw him play at LSU that year, and like everywhere the ball was, Pat Queen was either making that tackle or he was close to it. So yeah, man, he's man. Their defense is and they got smart. They were smart and they picked up veterans mid-season. Like they picked up number one pick defensive end
Jadavon Clowney, Jadavian.
Jadavian Clown. They picked him up. They picked up Van Noy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So they picked up like it wasn't like they picked up like you see the Lions just picked up Zach Ertz
I was gonna
late.
say yeah.
So those additions, like the additions they picked up, they weren't just for show. Those guys are actually playing really good, like quality downs for them. So
I
that's
mean,
great.
Clowney definitely, yeah. Like former
Yeah,
number one overall pick, still has that body. He can go, still has the
for
engine. At
sure.
least for passing situations, can give you that
Yeah.
edge threat. Zach Ertz waiting around, got released by the Cardinals. Now he's going to be able to compete for a Super Bowl. Now that the Lions lost like their second or third tight end.
Well,
Um,
Laporta's also hurt. His knees, like they showed his knee being heavily wrapped this past game.
oh damn. Okay.
And so he said is there still stiffness in it? He has to get heat treatment on it every time he comes out, every series they come
Mm,
out. He's
okay.
getting heat treatment on side. So
So that's probably a good thing to start with the Lions Niners game. You're saying Laporta has knee issue. We know
yep.
that Debo Samuel is in, threatening to
Shoulder.
miss this game. It's not a fracture. They got news back that it's his shoulder is hurt, but it's not a full fracture, so he won't be out. He's at least got a chance to play in this game. But we're gonna see versus the Lions exactly what the Niners bring to the table as far as wide receivers. I know a bunch of different wide receivers stepped up and kind of filled in for Debo over the last game and kind of bailed Brock Purdy out on a couple of those. Like they made some crazy catches on their ankles, twisting, turning around,
Yeah, yeah.
and really, looking out for their quarterback, kind of making them look good, even though usually that'd be another incomplete pass. But
But you
so
can
I'm not
tell
worried
that
about the Niners, the Niners offense really.
are you not? I don't know, man. Debo brings a certain element to that team that like
So, so
it's
many
just
other
something
names
like
though.
there are so many other names, but like so you saw them go to um gosh, this sucks. Smoke so much weed, man. Jokes. Um Kittles. God damn it. So
Skittles.
they saw you saw them go to Kittles a lot early, and then they kind of faded from that, and then they were kind of trying to force feed Ayuk, which never works for them because
Oh,
that's you know what I mean try to force feed him. They started running CMC late, and mind you, my brother-in-law is the same type of fan as Mac. You know what I mean? They love their Niners, but they're never dishonest about what they're watching. So he
mm-hmm.
was pissed. Like he was like, brother, why are you not running the ball? You guys are killing him on the ground, which they were. Um, but yeah, Debo just even if you're not throwing to Debo, you have to account for him more than you do, I think, for Ayuk. And that's why Ayuk's so much more open when Debo's on the field.
A really good player, dynamic, and does cause the defense to step up and look out for him. But then I think that hurts a lot less on that Niners offense, where people's first and foremost, thing that they have to watch out for is Christian McCaffrey, which we've
Always.
talked about That's the guy that makes the Niners all that stuff downfield, across the middle, short. That's just wide open. Is because the Niners have been pounding the ball. Christian
Mm,
McCaffrey is an efficient running back, but also can do a bunch of different things that really makes them have
yeah.
to look out for him. You've also got hands, like you said. Brandon Ayuk has had some really big fantasy games. Maybe not when they're trying to force feed him, maybe when he's just open as a secondary option, but still a really good wide receiver. Like we said, we have those bench wide receivers for the Niners that made a bunch of really good catches. I think Juwan Jennings, I forget the names of the other ones, but and then you also have George Kittle. Like, like
You said, hey, the other ones, their names they didn't go play that much.
I mean but they still showed out and showed up
No, no,
in some
yeah,
of the
yeah,
biggest
yeah,
moments. But
yeah.
what do you think a Niners win looks like this Sunday? Is it
Non-existent. No, just kidding. Don't worry, Niner fans. I'm not that much of a hater. I think it looks like they grinded again, like kind of like a lot of the offenses that from the Shanahan family. You know what I mean? Just run it down their throats, and then when you have a chance for a nice play action play down the field,
mm,
it's going to be a big play. If not, then hit your little short routes, your little ends. You got Kittles. Please use Kittles. Because,
Kittle?
man, oh my gosh.
No S.
No, I don't care. I'm someone, bro.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, it's.
Hey, man, it's subconscious, man. I can see. I know what his jersey looks like, but you know what I mean. Hey, I have a friend called. His name is Mike. You know what we call him? Mike's.
Mike's.
Yeah. That's no joke. You can ask the crew. We call Mike Mike's. Uh,
Kittles.
yeah. Hey, man, and I know it's Winkle. I still say Winkles.
Fred Myers. Fred Myers
Hey, there's an
is
S
the
there,
S.
bro.
That's what I was gonna say. Fred Myers is. All
I'm
right,
not that
so
ignorant.
the Niners grinded out. This is a controlled game. You're the better team, so really just uh,
Right, right,
take that to the Lions. Right, the Lions
right.
defense. Aiden Hutchinson, maybe some other guys that really contribute. Some young guys, Melifanu. Like we saw that the last three
Corner blitz.
drafts,
Yep,
their first two rounds have been all hits. Like they've been doing really good from Sewell to Hutchinson
they got
every year.
Branch,
Amon-Ra
Brian
St. Brown
Branch.
even late,
Yeah,
but yeah. So going up against, but still, the Niners can control the Lions defense, right? Just grind it out. Christian McCaffrey keep picking up first downs. Brock Purdy is the usual accurate, efficient
yep.
Brock Purdy. As long as it's not raining in San Francisco this week, I think the weather is clear. So it should be good for throwing, taking advantage of the Lions having to step up for that. But on defense, the Niners got to stop Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta if he's healthy.
You know
Some of
who?
some of the other speedsters, Jamison Williams.
I'm not too worried about Williams. Well, I think the Niners are gonna have to really bear down on is stopping Montgomery and Gibbs because
Okay, tandem
man,
running backs.
that kind of running backs, both of them got speed on them. It's funny because Montgomery's supposed to be like the inside guy, just north south runner, but Gibbs,
He still can scoot,
man,
and
yeah,
Gibbs still can hit,
he can
but he
take
usually
hits.
runs past people.
Yeah, so those two guys, man,
That's a good point.
but they have the linebackers to do it. Greenway and Greenlaw
Warner.
and Fred. I think Fred Warner is the best linebacker in the league. I
Mm.
don't care what people say. Uh,
Do
that
people
guy.
say otherwise?
I don't care what other people say, so I don't listen to them because,
Like I said, I don't care what people say.
like I said, I'm a cool guy. I don't listen to what other people say. Or what's Marcus? If you use Marcus' voice, hey man, I don't really listen to what other people say, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, is that Marcus?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Ooh,
man.
hey.
Yeah. Hey man, I don't care what they say.
Nice.
But no, yeah,
So is that
yeah,
if the so flipping it right and looking at what a Lions win would look like on Sunday? Does it start with the running game on offense between those Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery?
it does, because I think the only way I know you just asked what it looks like for a Lions win, but the only way for the Niners to win is to force Goff to beat them by always
I
having in the air.
Here's the thing, Luke. You remember brother Luke Jobs,
Right. Yes.
huge Jared Goff stand, right? Like
Nice.
he
I like
stands
it.
up for him. Like he's like, why aren't people recognizing Jared Goff? And I'm like, who? And he's like, Jared Goff, motherfucker. Shout out, brother Luke. He mentioned that statistically, Jared Goff is up there. He said he's like the best. I said, whoa. But he's up there towards the top with a bunch of other quarterbacks over the last 2 years. He's like top, top 10 and I want to say top 3 in yards and touchdowns.
I
And
wouldn't. I
then
wouldn't be surprised.
I
I
was
wouldn't be
very
surprised.
surprised to learn that.
No,
Uh,
because look, he wasn't that bad when they were forcing him out of LA. It's just that they
what?
didn't. They didn't win. He, for one,
Oh,
for one, that he took them to the Super Bowl. But because he was a number one pick, you're supposed to. His expectations were that he's always supposed to lead his team to a Super Bowl every season, even though he didn't have people to help him. It's like it's his fault. That comes with being the number one pick and a quarterback.
yeah.
And I get it.
Traded
That's
for Matt Stafford,
who
given
was
up
another
on.
number one pick, both number one picks. And Matt Stafford is probably a little bit more celebrated there because he took them to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl.
I
So
Oh yeah, he won the Super Bowl for the
right,
Rams. I thought the
yeah,
the Lions were going to be emotionally exhausted after beating Matt Stafford and the Rams and kind of give up, well, not win this last game versus the Buccaneers. But they handled business. The Bucks were able to hang for a little bit. I think right up to the fourth quarter, the Bucks were within one score, but then the Lions really blew it out, and the
yeah,
defense locked down after that. But the Lions on offense would need a good running game and
definitely,
timely. I think Goff would have to go off and really, like you talk about them, the Niners needing to force Goff to beat them. He would need to beat them, and it's a really good. It's a lot better defense than probably the Buccaneers. They played the Buccaneers, right?
yeah.
Um, so he's going to have to go against Warner, Javarius Ward,
Oh,
um,
definitely, definitely.
Nick Bosa. The rush is going to be better. So
And
seeing
no, this
Jared Goff go off,
right.
well, I mean, I I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think he's being slept on too after looking at the stats. So he might be able to do it. Fine, and I mean, he's obviously going to have to be helped out with a plan, and for everybody to really step up and kind of bail him out in certain parts. But like you said, the former number one pick has the potential. There's a reason he went that high. He's
Definitely,
got the potential. He's shown
definitely,
it. He's shown the stats over the last 2 years. For the Lions to win, I think Jared Goff needs to go off. Regardless of the running game, that would be very nice and very helpful. But otherwise, Jared Goff needs to be the guy that makes it happen.
yeah. And see, the one thing Jared Goff has that Jordan Love didn't have, and no disrespect to the Green Bay Packer wide receivers because they did great the second half of the season because the whole team was shit in the bag the first half, and then they come in and just start winning games. Those receivers, mind you, would it have two rookie receivers on there, or is it just the one rookie
Who's that?
receiver?
The
Two,
Lions?
the Packers.
Oh yeah, the Packers, Jaden Reed. I think that's it. Or I mean, I'm
And
sure there's
is
another one.
is Dobbs a rookie? Dobbs not a rookie?
No, Dubs
No.
is in
Okay.
there.
But
Romeo.
they had great receivers who stepped up. The one thing that Jared Goff has that the Packers that Jordan Love didn't have is Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is a difference maker in the game.
Great
Like that,
college.
man. I mean, despite the college he went to, he's coming to the
Despite
league. He's coming to the league and has done great. Like, man, I've never heard of another Trojan receiver doing anything in the league, but
what?
uh
Sean?
man,
Drake
who
London?
who?
Wow.
But I got you, Luke. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm a Ross St. Brown. He's one of those guys. If the ball's in his hands, like you can expect something good to happen, whether it's like a an out route or even one of those short screens to him. If it's down the field, once he has the ball in his hands, he can do great things. So um, look out for him. I'm not sold yet on Jameson Williams. He's hurt. I mean, I was a fan of him coming out when he first came out, but I don't know. I don't. I expected a little bit more from him, so we'll see. But if Sam Laporta can be at least 75%, I think him and St. Brown can really help Goff win that game for them.
Goff.
Because
Goff.
we all know their running backs are really great for them. And there's not too many people who are confident in Jared Goff, but I think he's got it in him. I think what did the kids say these days? But he got that
He
dog in
got that
him.
dog. I don't know if he got that dog in him, but
I don't know what kind of dog it is
I
yet.
think he's a competent quarterback that can process quick enough, and with the plans and the motivation from Dan Campbell, who makes his teammates play at a different level. You get the right plan, you find the right. I think he can manage that. And where I mean, people are calling this the game manager bowl between Brock Purdy and Jared Goff. I think that's demeaning because both of these guys,
Wow.
even though they're like seen Brock Purdy definitely seen as a system quarterback, are talented and definitely if you take away that Brock Purdy was
Man,
the last pick taken in the NFL draft, then you look at just what he's done. He's played great, and that's just like you know people
this
see
is
him
my
as a
thing.
seventh rounder still when he's
Right.
definitely proven that he can at least operate this system like a first overall pick could.
Hey, he's a good quarterback. I don't know if he's as great as some of the Niner fans are talking about, but he's a really good quarterback. And this
Tom
is the thing
Brady,
about no, don't do that.
that's Joe Montana.
Yeah, Joe Montana. But these people that calling him a system quarterback, I don't know. He's played in one system. You haven't seen him in another system be great. So I mean, maybe this, maybe that's just how he is. I don't know how you just everybody out here calling him a system quarterback.
Wait,
Um,
who? Purdy?
yeah, like what other quarterback worked in that system? None of them.
That's what. Well, okay.
They literally traded. They had to trade the first round pick. They got Trey Lance. They gave up on Jimmy Garoppolo, who was supposed to be the perfect quarterback for that system. Two of those, those two guys didn't work out. Everybody who came before them, except who Cap, but Cap was there, and that wasn't his system. He was probably the last great quarterback. I don't know about great, but
But
the last good quarterback in Frisco, and he was in a whole different system. You know what I mean? Can't just be
there
the
were
system.
talented passers that went through that system that could not
Amen.
figure it out. But the person who did figure out the system is now that system's quarterback, known
Right.
as a
So
system quarterback.
shit. No, he makes the system. The system didn't make him.
Oh, whoa! You saying if Brock Purdy went to the Raiders, he'd still be slinging it, still figure stuff
Oh,
out?
oh man, if you play for a shitty team, we're not gonna take you shit. Actually, that's a lie because we
What?
took Garoppolo.
Oh, I'm saying, but if you're saying Brock
No,
Purdy could play on any team.
I think so. I think so. Especially if you're a game manager.
That should be a good game manager. All right. So the Niners need to control it. The Lions need the running game or Jared Goff to go off. That is
Look,
our
yeah,
outlook for what wins
if
look like in the NFC Championship.
even simpler, the Niners need to control the game, not let it get, you know what I mean, not let Detroit even sniff any kind of momentum. But I think the Lions need to have a few big plays to win. You
Mm.
know, they got to let
But
loose. They got
they have that potential. They
that's
have that
they do. That's what I
possibility.
mean.
Those
So
guys that they
that's
have, Jameson
yeah.
Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameer Gibbs, all
Gibbs.
guys that can pop for
I
big
think
plays.
they need big plays to win that game. They can't be game managers, as people say. Jared Goff can't just sit back and because that defense is too good for them to try to nickel and dime them all the way down the field. It won't work for them. They're gonna have to go downfield a lot. Try to find Jameer Gibbs on these screens and have him break loose. So big plays from Detroit and a
It's gonna be
tough,
exciting.
steady, controlled game by San Francisco.
I think these games are gonna be very exciting. Lions Niners is gonna be really good offenses, good defenses, and then also we're gonna look at the AFC championship game between the Ravens and the Chiefs. Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, um, Harbaugh versus Reed. We got let's talk about it a little more after this break. I'm not really going to take a break, but I just want to talk about Brother Uriah is going to be up here for 4 days of Aloha at Esther Short Park in Vancouver. I think it's in July, right? We should definitely
July.
have the official
It's in
info.
July.
Yeah, so we definitely want to let people know that's going on. Definitely tap in at Levasa for the latest on exactly what's going on. I know there's a bunch of pop-ups that he's looking forward to getting into. I think winter time is usually pretty chill. There's not a lot of outside,
Well,
like
especially out
market
here at the
stuff.
PNW. Yeah.
It's been iced over for
Yep.
the last week. But I think when things start warming up, they're definitely going to get a lot more active and out there. But right now, doing print runs. Check out that print sesh playlist that Eri is posting on the Levasa Instagram page on how to keep that energy up during those print runs. And if you want to get your own Levasa Chunky Style Chihu shirt,
Go get them.
printed, definitely hit them up and you can order them straight through the Instagram, and he can print those out and send them over to you and let you know exactly how pay for it and how fast it can get to you. Get your hoodies. It is hoodie season, but definitely, what is it? The Kekui Kui Foundation up at Esther Short Park, going to be hosting 4 days of Aloha here in Vancouver this summer. So tap in and get ready for that. As we tap in and get ready for the AFC Championship game. The Chiefs made it. The Chiefs beat the Bills in Buffalo, Highmark Stadium. Josh Allen was very frustrated after. Travis Kelce told him it's crazy y'all even made it here, and then walked away after the post game. But the Chiefs are moving on. The Chiefs, the defending champion Chiefs. How did I forget that? It feels like this is a totally different team that has had to rebuild itself on the fly from week one. Was Travis Kelce wasn't playing week one or was injured in the preseason. So it seems like this is whole nother team that has made it to the championship. They're going against the number one seed in the AFC, who I think I'm not sure if it's 95 or 96% of America wants to win, the Baltimore Ravens in this game, led by Lamar Jackson, who is like an MVP favorite. Definitely going to be an exciting one. And like we said before, they beat the Texans to get here after that bye week in the wild card round. Your initial thoughts on this being the championship game for the AFC?
Look, if the Raiders aren't playing in the NFC champion or AFC championship, I stopped watching AFC football the minute the regular season was done. I said, you know what? We're just going to cheer for the NFC team because whoever's in the AFC team, it's not the Raiders, so fuck them.
And it being an AFC West division rival in the Chiefs probably doesn't help them doing so good.
It feels a little better because you know who beat the Chiefs this year? The Raiders.
Oh, okay. So the further the Chiefs go, the further you're like, see, the Raiders would have beat these guys too.
Exactly. We would have won the Super Bowl.
So you want the Chiefs to go. Everybody else is like, that's enough, Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes in his 6 years as being a starter has made it to the AFC Championship 6 times. Or maybe 7 years as starter. Oh man, that is crazy.
It's amazing what you can do when you sell your soul to the devil. It's crazy.
Stop. That is not what successful people do. I don't know what it is other than that his spine is like super flexible. That's the only difference I can think of, right?
Bro, I'm telling you, man. Look at us. Hey, to me, we're successful. But to the world,
if we just sold our souls, that's when it's gonna make a difference.
Hey, man. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes,
Max Crosby, Antonio Pierce.
Hey, no, man, they're not successful yet. But
you know
what I mean?
Yo, did you hear Sefa saying he'd say Max Crosby over Nick Bosa?
Definitely.
Oh, you're a Raiders fan. I don't know why I brought that up.
But no, so okay, non-biased. because it's his motor. He doesn't take plays off. Like, and the guy came out as a third round pick. Like,
Fifth round?
oh, fifth round. So if you never saw Max Crosby like his rookie, like he came on his rookie year, like he was like people were just like, who is this guy? But
Mm.
before he started showing on his rookie year, you would have never known who Max Crosby was. Uh, I can't even tell you the school he went to right now. You
Are
know,
you take him over Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Bosa? You think Matt Crosby should be Defensive Player of the Year, like in that conversation?
I do, I do. And again, not because I'm a Raiders fan, just his body of work. How important he is to that defense, how important he is to that um organization. You know, so Nick Bosa, I mean, he's important to everybody from the MAGA organization, the MAGA artists. So
And Nick Bosa is popular with the whites and people that like sack numbers, but not actually like a whole rounded Defensive Player of the Year.
no,
I've
look,
also seen that Nick Bosa is more like it contributes in the run defense.
he's a one trick pony.
Wait, but the run defense and pass rushing sacks and stuff like that. That's like Aaron Donald.
Nah, not really.
You're saying
Those
he's just the
stats,
edge? Okay, never. Let's get off of
those
this.
stats are nice.
We're talking about the AFC, the Chiefs and the Ravens. What does a win look like for the Baltimore Ravens in this AFC Championship game versus the Chiefs?
uh, Everything they did in the first round, they need to do against the Chiefs. I like the Ravens defense matched up against the Chiefs. I think they're a much better defense than the Chiefs have faced. Um, so
Mm.
I like that matchup a lot. Pat Queen flying around, McAllister. So I mean, they're gonna look good. I think their defense is just as good as San Francisco's defense, and sometimes better. So
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think the Ravens defense it also matches that. I think the Niners defense also has that same intensity that I was mentioning before when I was watching the
yeah,
Ravens.
yeah,
Um, so it's going to be. I mean, that being the projected Super Bowl between number one seeds would be great to see, and they also have crazy offenses. But this game to get there, I think the Ravens really are offense is a lot better than the Chiefs defense. And then the Ravens defense is a lot
yes.
better, like you said, than the Chiefs have seen recently.
See, this
Um,
is the thing though. Like we've seen so many offenses come and to play against Kansas City, and we all know their offense is tons better than their defense. We've seen offensive comes that have been better than the Chiefs defense. But the one thing that the Chiefs have again is Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not so much of a hater that I can't see that. You've heard me say that when people ask us about, people start talking about, well, I don't know if Kansas City does, and I tell people, look, if Patrick Mahomes is back there, this is the same thing we said about him last year, him and the Chiefs last year when they had a slow start. And then if you look back again, it wasn't that slow because they picked it up pretty quick. But it's the same thing. People are like, oh, maybe they fell off. Maybe they didn't do so great. And then when the Kansas City Chiefs had a couple of questionable losses this year. Also, one to the Raiders, people were like, "Oh, damn! Well, if they're going to lose to the Raiders, how are they going to make it into How are they going to be in the playoffs?" But again, they've they've been to the playoffs. They've won Super Bowls. They've won last year's Super Bowl.
for
Uh,
right,
yeah, and Patrick, again, you saw it in the tweets. If Patrick Mahomes is leading that team, they're always going to have a fighting chance to win
right.
a game.
So you're saying for the Ravens to win, Mahomes needs to be off?
No, they need to force him to do bad things. He can't just be off because even when he has an off day,
I mean,
he's still.
it might not be
But
Mahomes being off. It might be like the receivers not catching the ball. Travis
like they
Kelsey
were in the
had
regular
some
season,
weird, Travis Kelsey had some weird drops this playoffs, but
right? But
Mahomes.
not
So
even the playoffs, like in the regular season. But bro, they
I'm
had
seeing even more recently than that. He's had some like hit him in the hands, hit him in the end zone, and it's just like gone right through his hands. And you're like,
I
is
don't know.
this Travis Kelsey getting old?
he had a good game the last game, but
Yeah.
you know who had also a good game? The other receivers that we were seeing drop balls during the season. They were catching balls. So if that happens, that's a win for the Ravens, definitely. If the because
If they're dropping,
yeah, if they're no, if they're catching, that's a win for the Chiefs. Sorry, because we're talking about the Chiefs winning. What does it look like for a Chiefs win?
or the Ravens winning.
Is for the for the Chiefs to win, for the Chiefs to win, they
Oh, wait.
what's his name? Scandling.
Marquez Valdez Scantling.
People were calling for his head in the regular
I
season.
think we were still
He
doing the
were
Ravens. The Ravens win like
all
if
right.
if Lamar. Wait, hold on.
The way,
Okay,
yeah, if Lamar does what Lamar does, like he did the last game, then they win. But there was times where we were frustrated watching the game because I know Lamar's trying to be a better quarterback. He is a better quarterback than he was before. But sometimes it's like, bro, you don't have to look for it downfield all the time. Like he would break out of the pocket and then instead of go upfield, maybe gain like 5 yards and slide. He doesn't have to like run it all the way, but he would start running sideways and then all of a sudden he had to throw it away. Like just pick up the yards, bro. Just pick up the yards and you're good. But then also he comes back and does this spectacular thing and runs it like 8 yards into the end zone. You know what I mean? Like
hmm that's the
so
part. I think
that's
it's
the
gonna
magic. Yeah.
be like probably. I think the running game is gonna be okay versus this Chiefs defense. And then also that's going to be able to open up some passing off of it. I think the
Right.
Ravens offense is going to go off, and then also there's going to be those third down conversions that Lamar picks up after like scrambling around the pocket or going for a big rush. But then also that defense really just can knock out the Chiefs. Receivers make them super uncomfortable, throw them off, and like you said, disrupt them so that the
Oh,
Ravens can win. I feel like that's the
yeah.
most likely scenario. And then for the Chiefs to win, you're saying Mahomes needs to be on. People need to be sticking, even getting around that defense.
Yeah. So like just you know, all the losses that they had, like there was a lot of drop balls from his receivers. Also, like you said, mentioning Kelsey being off some of those games. So they're gonna have to be at their best, you know, for them to beat the Ravens. Because the Ravens are
Mm.
they might, I think, as a team altogether, I think they're better than the Chiefs. Offense and defense run. I think they've got better pieces with them. Obviously, there's no better piece or no better duo in the game right now offensively than Kelsey and Mahomes. Even though maybe Kelsey's having an off year, they're still probably the number one duo in the league. That's tough to because they're the only guys that they're allowed to improvise on the offense. You know
And
that
they improvise the same, like they're on the
together,
same
right?
page. Yeah.
Right. That adds such a
How can you
different
cover
element
that?
to their game. Right. It's like playing like the commentator is saying on this, it's like they're playing schoolyard football. Like, hey, just go out there and get open. It's like
Yeah.
I got you. Uh so that's tough to cover, but with the other receivers, I think they can what's their rookie receiver? He's pretty good though.
Rasheed
I won't
Rice.
lie. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
pretty good. Pacheco's good, but they don't run the ball like other teams. Like they're
He's run so
uh,
angry. Stop,
yeah,
stop,
like
stop, stop, stop.
he's good, but I don't know if he's gonna get enough carries to be that much of an impact on that defense.
Yo,
'Cause,
exactly. They're
yeah,
gonna have to be throwing it around a lot.
yeah. So obviously we all know what they have to do to win. The Chiefs we're talking about is Mahomes has to
Mm,
bring out that Mahomes magic that he does. You know what I mean?
exactly.
And shed the tears he sheds every time he doesn't get a call. So,
Oh, a little bit of help from the refs, maybe for the Chiefs. I
man,
feel like whoever wins these games, the NFL is going to have a really good matchup. Like whoever gets to the
oh,
Super Bowl,
definitely,
it's going to be really good, and also it's going to be the
definitely,
Super Bowl. On top of that, that's a big multiplier. But
yeah.
all four of these teams have a at least a story or a roster that can pop and give a really entertaining Super Bowl. But I think for
I,
the
I,
but
I'm hoping the Ravens go. Honestly, I'm
same.
hoping it's a Ravens San Francisco Super Bowl.
For the Chiefs to win, I think it looks like you said, Mahomes magic, but also like some
Yep.
of these some Andy Reid
I was just
specials.
I was about to say we can't ever not account for Andy Reid because
Yeah,
the
he's gonna
the
find
guys,
it.
man, he's good at scheming stuff. Like people were like,
Hmm,
"Oh,
hmm.
the enemy's leaving; they're not going to be that great on offense anymore."
I was one of those people. I
Uh,
thought they were gonna fall a
no,
little bit.
I was too. Uh, Tyreek's leaving; they have no one to throw downfield
Damn
anymore.
right, right.
Kelsey's going to be covered all the time, so things like that. But hey, Andy Reid coached his ass off both seasons. Had
Yeah.
a Super Bowl win last year, so I mean,
The thing, I hate the Chiefs. I hate how much winning they do, especially with Mahomes over the last 6 years. But I can't hate Andy Reid. And I feel
you
like I
can't.
can't fully hate that team, even though they're a division rival that has
Oh no,
been
I
like
can, man,
I
I
feel
can
like
fully hate
just
them.
just because of Andy Reid, it's only at like a 94%.
I like
But
Andy Reid, but Chiefs organization, from a Raiders fan from way little, but fuck the Chiefs.
some sort of crazy play or game plan where Mahomes takes advantage of a weakness that no one has seen before in the Baltimore
Definitely,
defense, I think that's how the Chiefs get a win.
definitely.
Or, because the way their defense covers, the way they surely tackle, how they hit hard, it's gonna be take as what you can get, what little you can get each play, and just kind
Yep,
of jabbing in. It's gonna be like a heavyweight fight in the late rounds. You're just kind of jabbing, waiting to land that punch, but you're gonna have to take a lot of hits to get to that
definitely,
point in the game for the Chiefs.
definitely. An undervalued matchup that we're about to see is between Andy Reid and John Harbaugh.
Yeah,
That yeah. So
John Harbaugh was a special teams coach. You know that?
you know what I knew about John Harbaugh before he became like a big coach? That he was Jim Harbaugh's brother. That's all I knew about him.
Nice.
Well, because I liked Jim Harbaugh when he came
Yeah,
into the league, when he played for the Colts. Like I was a Jim Harbaugh
yeah,
fan
for
when he
real.
was
He
a
played for
quarterback.
the
Yeah.
Chargers too, like for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, as soon as he got there, I kind of just lost ties with him. Charger,
Well,
retire.
it's going to be great. NFC, AFC championship games are going to
Woo.
be this Sunday. What is that? The 29th? The 28th. And it's going to be
28th.
Chiefs at Ravens at 12 p.m. Pacific on CBS, and then Lions at Niners at 3:30 Pacific on Fox. So make sure you tap into those games. I don't know. We might need to do. I started betting on DraftKings, doing like these big parlays. So we might need to do another show where we like get together and figure some of that stuff out, and talk
Oh,
more about stuff that we might be able to make some money on.
I'll tell you what, man. Uh, so tomorrow I'm trying to get on this flight. I'm seeing if there's space available so I can get on. Thank God. Thank you to my sister Adela, who's so
Start
just
those shout
gracious
outs.
enough.
Go.
Yeah, shout out to my sister Adela. She's I'm gonna be her companion. She's flying me out to Vegas. Hopefully we can get onto a flight tomorrow.
Hey,
But
nice.
I will be shout out also to one of my best friends out there, Tipesa Gray. Her and her wife Chelsea Gray are having their baby shower this Sunday. That
Yeah.
so so the betting. I will be in Vegas this Sunday.
Oh, you're gonna have your finger on the pulse.
I'm manifesting it right now that we're getting on the flight. And but then I'm telling yeah, so let's make those bets, send them to me. Let me go see if I can put one in before the baby shower, you know, so I can come back with some money.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, definitely tap in with us. Follow us at Ballinesian on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, also YouTube. And follow, rate us 5 stars, subscribe to the YouTube, and also to our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. There's
Right,
even the
right, right.
SoundCloud account that we see from if you want to get like really in there. Yeah, that's how far back it is. But yeah, shout out to everybody for listening. Forrest, appreciate you for being on. What else?
Man, always one of my best times, man. That's what I tell you.
Bro,
I never hesitate unless it's something that it's dire need to be done or I just can't escape it. I'm always gonna be here.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's always fun talking to football and figuring out. Like we'd be having these conversations about football in the chat anyway, but
definitely.
to hop on and talk it and share it, and definitely get some of these interesting segments and takes. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, but the freaking Super Bowl is coming up. This is
It-
so fast.
this is such like the most it oh man, it's so heartbreaking at the same time so exciting because
Yeah,
one, we get to watch the Super Bowl, but two, it means we have to wait months and months for
yeah.
football again.
Let's watch the
I,
Super Bowl.
I'm trying to get into UFL so that way
Oh
it's not
yeah, yep,
that
yep.
long. Yeah. So shout out to one of Samoa's very own, Shalom Luwani, who will be playing. Sorry, Shalom, I forgot what team you're playing for, but he is
The
in the league.
Generals.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Wait, that
He's
might
been
not be the name anymore.
okay. He's been a really big part of all these outside outside of the NFL professional leagues, like the XFL, USFL, now the UFL, since they're together. Um, I want to say he's also been to the CFL, but yes, Shalom Luani was also a Raider, and who else did he play for? He's a NFL player as well, but he is his time in the NFL isn't yet. He hasn't come back to the NFL yet. So right now he's playing in these other professional leagues. But it's good to see. We love to see it. Yeah, Shalom's a great player. Played at Wazoo. So shout out to him, man. Again, let's try to get into UFL. Maybe we
Yeah.
can talk UFL. There's some great players that are playing in the UFL. So
Shout out to Jordan Addison, Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Pittman Jr., Juju Smith-Schuster.
man, that's great. You know, all those guys went to a school that Notre Dame beat this year. Spank them.
Oh man, yeah. Shout out to USC. Caleb Williams is gone. New era. Fight on.
Wow,
Uh,
why do you say that like you're happy that he's gone?
I'm saying it's a new era. Now it's time for somebody else to step
Hey,
in
you
and
know what?
operate that
They had
system.
they lost their quarterback who was the number one quarterback coming out of high school a few years ago,
Yeah,
Malachi Nelson, which is funny because I was expecting him to play in the bowl game, but they had a kid named Miller Moss who I'd never heard of tear up that bowl game. So hopefully, I liked him in the bowl game. Hopefully, he can stay on as a starting quarterback because college football, the landscape is so much more different now with the transfer rules and NIL. So they can't be one of those teams that are like, no, we're not going to go out and look for a transfer quarterback to come in and help before our next star quarterback comes in. So, but I thought Miller Moss looked pretty good. So,
uh, Big Dave Uyunglele, DJ and Matayo's dad.
yep,
He
yep.
posted that USC signed Jaden
Jaden Mayava,
Mayava,
they
yeah,
did
as quarterback. So maybe he's the one that's going to be able to fill that until you know the next quarterback after the next
right.
great USC quarterback after him. You remember John David Booty, Sam
Yeah, he
Darnold,
was the
Shea
greatest,
Jackson Dart, all these like quarterbacks that got a chance. Anyways,
bro.
shout
You
outs,
know,
yeah. Shout out to Levasa Island Apparel, brother E. Rye grinding down. Make sure to follow Levasa on Instagram and check out that print sesh playlist. I think this was version number 2. He's got, he's
yeah,
gonna be
he's
doing
got
he's
a
gonna be
few
doing
out.
multiple drops. Yeah, and also tap into the Instagram so you can order your Levasa gear straight from him, and he can send it right to you. I think it gets to you a little faster if you go and use the Instagram. That Van Camp flip on the chunky style. Chee-hoo.
Yup, yup.
The Sasa shirts, man, but definitely the hoodies. It's still gonna be cold out. There's still gonna be more snow, more cold. Definitely tap in and hit them up. Get those print sessions going. But yeah, that is our episode for this week. We might have another one. We'll see what's happening with the boys and see what's going on. But more coming at you definitely for this end of the NFL season. And then we're going to transfer into just a bunch of crazy conversations once football is over. We're just going to go for a hot take of
Like
the week.
we're slowly gonna, after football season, we'll be transitioning into I don't know if you guys watched Lena the Plug and her husband's podcast. Not just kidding.
The what?
I mean, uh I don't know if you know who Lena the Plug is. She's married to Adam 22 of No Jumper.
Oh, this is a totally different person. I thought you were talking about like an Islander account. You're talking about the no jumper couple. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been the Ballinesian podcast. For Forrest, I am Lance. Tap in next time. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay ballin'. Love and light.
And stay
Peace.
high.